Hello everybody! Lucky Annie is here. Welcome to another Lucky Annie cooking stream. I am back from abroad. I was in Europe for the last from a week ago until 2 weeks prior to that for a work thing and for a fun thing. So I thought before I got cooking, I would show you all some of the cool treats that I brought back. So first of all, let me just take a quickie check. Make sure I am audible, because we have had problems with that before. Let me just take a peek. Oh yes, I am audible. Good. So, here are some things that I have been eating since I got back. Oh, and more importantly, I need to feed the cat before I do anything else because he's going to be mad. So, let's feed the kitty first. I meant to do this before stream. Hi, yes, there you go. So, Atticus has been fed, in case anyone was concerned. So here are some of the things, a couple things I picked up. Well, I picked them up in four different countries, actually. So the first place I went was the Netherlands for my work meeting, and I found these delightful little ginger cookies. No, they are not stroopwafel. I did not get any stroopwafel. I actually didn't eat any. What I really fell in love with over there were called puffertjes, which are these itty-bitty pancakes about yay big that they serve to you hot with a bunch of butter and powdered sugar over them, and they're amazing. So, but no, I found these are tiny ginger cookies coated in cocoa powder, and they do a bunch of different kinds. There's often a candy coating or something, but they are super good. Then I went to Norway. Okay, so 3 different countries here. I don't know where I got 4 from. Hey, Asuno, thanks for joining. So I went to Norway, and I found a few things I liked, although I haven't actually tried this one yet. I'm just amused because it's called a quick lunch, and it's basically just a Kit Kat. It's a Kit Kat with better chocolate. So, quick lunch. Then we have, this was really lovely. This is like a raspberry dark chocolate truffle bar. And this is real good. And then we have extra dark marzipan bar. I love marzipan. Marzipan was a lot easier to find in Norway than I've ever seen it over here. I love all things almond combined with dark chocolate. I think dark chocolate, hot chocolate with amaretto is one of the best things in the world. And I was in kind of heaven over there in terms of amount of almond flavored things I could get. Then I had to get some things in Heathrow because I had a layover. Oh, hey, Julian, how's it going? And hey, Zed Boson, thank you for joining. Yes, pancakes are happening, but first candy. And you got flagged by mods there briefly, Phoebe, but it's okay. I allowed it. So anyway, yes, Heathrow is a good place for food. So I picked up a flake, and these are some of my favorites. They are milk chocolate that is sort of drizzled in a very fancy fashion, so when you bite into it, it crumbles in your mouth. It's just chocolate, like there's nothing else to it, but the texture is delightful. In Australia, they serve them like sticking out of an ice cream cone a lot of times. And then I also, while I was in the merry country of England, I got Jaffa Cakes because I'd never tried one before and because I love chocolate orange so much. Jaffa Cakes, I love this. On the back, there's a description that says 13 Jaffa Cakes. This tube contains exactly 13 Jaffa Cakes. McVitie's Jaffa Cakes, the original blend of dark, crackly chocolate, light sponge, and the smashing orangey bit. Yes. Oh, and hey, Malika the Red. Or Malika. I know I had that right at one point. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced it again. But yes, so Jaffa Cakes. Jaffa Cakes have been happening. They have been my go-to stress-eating food all week. And interestingly, Jaffa Cakes are legally cakes, which is a fact I learned watching The Big Fat Quiz, which is a fantastic thing to watch on YouTube. It's a very funny British comedy series. You want me to narrate a book for Audible? Oh, just because my sad British accent with the Jaffa Cakes? Anyway, so yeah, Jaffa Cakes are legally cakes. There was a whole court case because there's VAT tax on cookies or biscuits, but not on cakes. So they didn't want it to be taxed, so they had a court case to argue that they are legally cakes. So that is Jaffa Cakes. Those are some of the exciting things I picked up on my travels and have been eating slightly compulsively all week because it's been a little stressful since I got back. But I'm doing okay. Which brings us to my other favorite stress-eaty food, pancakes, which is what we're making tonight. Also, apologies in advance if there are audio sync issues. I have been tilting at this windmill for a while to fix them, and so far my best solution is maybe don't show my face too much so they can't tell the audio's out of sync. So we're going to be doing mostly that as I make pancakes. This is my favorite pancake recipe, and I am a bit of a connoisseur when it comes to pancake recipes. I adore pancakes, especially chocolate chip pancakes. Chocolate chip pancakes are my faves, and that's what we are going to be making tonight. And I'm actually not going to be using any white sugar in this at all. I'm going to be using honey and chocolate chips that are sweetened with stevia, which are really, really expensive. Like, that thing is like $6. And that was on sale. So if you are sensitive to sugar, they're extremely good. But they are very expensive. But I find that despite all the horrible things I've been eating here, I generally try to avoid too much sugar in my diet. So, yes. Oh yes, to be fancy. Oh, the sausage roll stream. Okay. I'm glad. Oh, so there is still a sync issue. Anyway, so we're going to make some pancakes, and I've actually gotten all the ingredients and the bowls and everything out in advance. Now, the thing about this recipe, though, is it makes a ludicrous amount of pancakes. So we are going to be actually cooking them for a while because I do not have a griddle. I have a little thing that I can make 4 sort of medium-sized pancakes at a time. Because I live in an apartment, I do not have room for large appliances such as griddles. So, oh, I'm glad that the sink is a little better tonight. I seriously was running out of ideas how to fix this thing. I'm glad to see so many of you in chat. Hey, how's it going? Is everyone having a good night? I hope your Mondays went better than mine. But it's better now that I have all of you in my life once again. So let's get started. First things we're going to do. I'm going to tilt the camera down so you can watch the action. So I am going to be putting some flour into here to start. So this is one of those recipes where you're going to want to combine the dry ingredients separate from the wet. We had a whole conversation about this in the Discord recently about why do you do that? The reason is because with a lot of baked goods, if you stir them too much once you get the wet and the dry stuff together, unfortunately what happens is it gets overmixed and then gets really flat when you cook it or when you bake it. So you want things to be nice and light and fluffy and often err on the side of it being a little undermixed rather than overmixed. But at the same time, with your dry ingredients, you want to make sure that all of the dry ingredients are well incorporated throughout. So you don't want like a big blob of baking soda to be in one spot. So the way you do that is you mix all the dry ingredients first, and then the wet ingredients separately, and then you combine the two, but you don't overstir when you combine the two. Because when you combine the two is when the magic happens. So, and I'm realizing the folly of my plan here. Alright, so we're going to need a couple of things here. If I tilt the screen down, I can't see chat very well. So I hope you can all behave yourselves a little bit. Ha 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 ha. We are the misbehaving maidens, of course. And I need to pull up my recipe in another way, because otherwise I cannot see. Actually, I'm going to pull up my recipe the sneaky way. I'll show you this real quick. I keep the recipe on the inside of my cupboard door, and yes, my cupboard's very messy. I have a lot of stuff because I refer to it a lot. I just find it very helpful to have the recipe super, super handy. Oh, you can't see it because I'm blocking the way. Haha. So, back over there, you can see the recipe. I think I'm out of the way now. So, you basically just saw my super secret cupboard. There we go. Okay, so that worked. Anyway, so it's a good way to keep recipes handy that you're going to refer to a lot. So here I have pancakes, and I have my recipe for chocolate chip cookies, because I make them both a lot. So, anyway. Oh, Julian, I'm sorry you're having a bad brain week. I know you're not alone with that. I am having a bad brain week too, and I know a lot of people are, so let's hope it gets better soon. Alright, so we need 2 cups of white flour. Then we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Let me make sure this looks okay on screen. I'm just going to throw things all over. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. One of our 2 leavening ingredients. So there's 1, and there's 2. We were also talking in the Discord about how baking is much more of a science, or chemistry than cooking. Cooking, you can improvise a lot more safely. Whereas baking, you have to be careful because proportions are so incredibly important. And sometimes you just can't fudge it as much as you could in cooking, where if the recipe in stir fry calls for 2 cloves of garlic, you know, fuck that. We measure this with our heart. You don't measure garlic like that. So, you know, with cooking, I can get away with putting 6 cloves of garlic into a recipe that calls for 2. Can't really do that with baking in the same way. If it calls for a cup of chocolate chips, you don't really want to put 6 cups of chocolate chips in there, unfortunately, because you will end up with a gooey mess. Alright. And the same with the proportion of, you have to be very careful with the wet to dry ratio. So I like to substitute, that was salt by the way, I like to substitute in honey and maple syrup as sweetener in a lot of things that I make. So, unfortunately, I can't do that as easily with baking because it would mess with the wet to dry ratio. So, I really need to be careful and decrease the amount of wet ingredients if I'm going to substitute in maple syrup or sugar, or maple syrup or honey. And thankfully, the internet has some guides for how to do that. It just requires some math. I don't always feel like doing math with my cooking. Okay, so we've got the dry ingredients mixed together. I'm just going to check on you lovely people in chat for a moment. Let's see. Oh, the Discord, it was in the food and cooking channel. More garlic is better garlic. I highly agree. Ah, yes. And please do join the Maidens Discord, now not obsessively promoting itself in the Twitch chat like it was. We turned that way down because it was coming every 3 minutes. It was a little annoying last time I did this stream. Also, thanks to Rouge for doing some awesome streaming while I was away. She took 3 weeks in a row of Twitch streaming on Mondays, which helped me be away and then recover a bit. And now I'm here. Alright, so now we add the weirdest ingredient, which is a cup of yogurt. Now the recipe calls for vanilla. Again, cutting down on sweetener, I use plain. And I've never had a problem with it tasting not sweet enough for my palate. And I like sweet things, as you can see by the ridiculous amount of candy that I got. Also, prep yourself if you have any random questions about the Maidens, about me, about my travels. Please do get ready to drop those in the chat because there will be several waits while we wait for the griddle to heat up and then while we wait for the pancakes to actually cook. So we're going to have a lot of time to chat today. Don't throw them in the chat now because I'll probably miss them in the back scroll. And I'm not looking at chat right this second. So now for the milk, I tend to go dairy-free. Other than the yogurt, I guess, but I tend to go dairy-free milk. So I have Trader Joe's coconut beverage. Only the finest of coconut beverage. Just like Mom and Dad used to make. So, I'm going to add that to my wet ingredients. Oh, it's so heavy and slippery. There we go. There's a cup of milk. And what I like about this recipe is the yogurt really gives it a nice heartiness, I guess, to the pancakes, while also really increasing the amount of protein in them. So I find they're satisfying for longer. Like I can eat pancakes and not feel hungry again like an hour later because they have more protein. There's a couple of eggs in there. And I wash my hands. Eggs, we need oil. So this is just regular old vegetable oil. Nothing super fancy here. Just gonna add a couple tablespoons of that. The reason I like this recipe is there's not a lot of fat in it, and even the amount of sugar in it is surprisingly little. There's only like a couple tablespoons of honey, which we're gonna add in just a second here. So 3 tablespoons of honey. Next. Oh, and this thing's way too heavy. Urgh. My pathetic little way behind in rock climbing arms cannot handle this thing. Alright, there's one. And it helps to measure the honey right after the oil in the same measuring spoon because it falls right out. There's 2. Also, thank you all for tuning in when there is a perfectly good desert bus going on right now, which I've been obsessively watching all week. I don't know about y'all, but I appreciate you coming and giving the maiden some attention in the middle of that, because there's certainly many hijinks available across the internets. I set it up so we should be auto-hosting Desert Bus when we're not live as well. Alright, some vanilla. This is the vanilla I made, even though it's in another company's vanilla bottle. I have made my own vanilla. It is not hard. I would do a stream on it, except that it takes all of 5 seconds. So it wouldn't be a very interesting or long stream. I'd have to make some other stuff too. I could show you how to make that and ginger tincture, which is really good for upset stomachs, which also takes about 5 seconds. And maybe I should do a cooking hacks episode where I do like how to make your own stock, how to make your own ginger tincture, teas, that kind of thing. TEA, not tease like I'm teasing you. Alright, so I'm kind of delicately mixing the wet stuff here just so it doesn't splash everywhere. Just gonna get that fairly thoroughly mixed. Now again, that's a mixture of yogurt, milk, eggs, oil, honey, and vanilla. I'm just gonna click back over to chat here for a minute and see how y'all are doing there. Learned how to make coconut milk. Oh, that's awesome. Alright. So yeah, I'll consider doing a stream of like little weird cooking hacks. So now we mix the liquid in with the dry. So I'm just gonna pour that into my batter bowl. And put that in the sink. And we're just gonna mix that around. So I hope you all had fun watching Rouge make cocktails while I was away. I think she had Saber over for a couple of them, which is awesome. And I know I missed out on playing Untitled Goose Game with Flint and Rouge. That's a stream worth rewatching. I think that's on our YouTube now. Go check that out if you haven't already. It is hilarious. Now this batter is super lumpy. That's okay. That's pretty much what we want. And then I need a cup of chocolate chips. I am going to eyeball this just because, you know, honestly with pancakes, too many chocolate chips is not the worst thing. Also, it's roughly half a bag of chocolate chips. And you just want to fold those in gently, not over stir. It really helps if you've got to add something like chips or nuts to a baking recipe. It helps to do it when the batter is still not completely mixed. So they'll say mix until it's like dusty white, so there's still like little bits of flour showing. Then you add your chocolate chips, your nuts, whatever, because then that helps prevent it from getting overmixed. Now, very important part of pancake making that a lot of people skip. You will notice I have not heated up the griddle yet. Very important reason for that. You want your pancake batter to rest for about 10 minutes before you actually start cooking it. Why? Well, you're giving chemistry a chance to chemistry. Long story short, you want to make sure, and you want to spend some time heating your griddle up, but you want to make sure that the baking soda has a chance to kind of activate and things get sort of fluffy and nice A lot of people just throw the batter on the griddle as soon as it's mixed up. That's not usually the greatest idea. Give yourself 5 or 10 minutes before you throw it on the griddle. When we do, I think I forgot to grab, we're gonna need butter and syrup. I'm gonna put some things away. So now's a great time if anyone has questions or anything they want me to talk about. I am more than happy to do that. So we've got roughly 10 minutes together. I'd especially welcome any ideas for cooking streams. If there are things you want to learn how to cook or techniques you want to learn, I am more than happy to help. So, shove all that over there. So what's new? What's shaken? What do people want to learn? What do you like about cooking? What do you hate about cooking? Yes, I do have star leggings. I love these star pants very, very much. I got them on Amazon. I wear them a lot. Let the gluten strands relax too. Yes, that's another reason to let things wait. Same reason you put there's another reason you put dough for cookies or pastries in the fridge to rest, is actually because you want the butter in there to get a little bit hard before you bake it. Because when you bake it and there's little clumps of butter in it that melt, that leaves an air pocket, which makes it lighter and fluffier. So that's a lot of times why you want cookies to hang out in the fridge. It does help the gluten relax as well, but it also gives you that nice, light and fluffy. If your cookies end up really, really flat a lot and really crunchy and you want them lighter and chewier, definitely try throwing the dough in the fridge for like an hour. Make sure that you give that a shot. My favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe, which I think I've made on this stream way back, is definitely one where you want to let it chill for an hour or two, maybe 3. Even for the Halloween thing that I did most recently, that recipe asked me to chill the dough for at least an hour. I let it chill for about 6 before the stream. I cheated and made the dough before the stream because I'm like, I want to do this right. I want it to be good. And wow, were they good. And wow, were they incredibly rich. I ended up giving away almost everything that I made that stream because I was getting on a plane shortly after that stream. And also, I felt myself getting cavities just eating it. I love sweets, and I have my limits. And those Halloween treats were definitely made for younger palates than mine. Yeah, ooh, gingerbread white chocolate chip cookies, that sounds amazing. A blind playthrough of a baking recipe might make for a fun stream. Actually, that's what I did with the Halloween stream. I had never made any of those things before, and it was a slight disaster. I could not get the chocolate to the right temperature, and it ended up clumpy and weird. So yes, I have done that. I will happily do it again, which is part of why I'm taking suggestions. If people suggest recipes I've not made before, I'm more than happy to do that again. Yeah, Malika, do share that recipe. That sounds amazing. Happy to do that. So I'm curious about how people feel about pancakes. Are you more plain pancakes? Are you more into blueberry, chocolate chip, apple? Apple's real nice. I also favor a combination of chocolate chip and banana. It's real, real good. Make baklava on stream. I'll leave that to the Great British Bake Off people to have the punishing things like phyllo dough and puff pastry that they make from scratch. No, I will not. Actually, baklava would not be horrible. It's just, if you bought your phyllo dough, it's just time consuming. I have made it before. It's just a matter of it's very messy you have to spread butter thinly on every single layer, and you have to keep the layers moist in between piling them up. And it's a bit of a show. It's a bit of an I Love Lucy moment because you're trying to balance all those different things. I'm ready for some pancakes. I even had dinner tonight, but I still like pancakes. I don't think I'm ever not hungry for pancakes, just straight up. If I have eaten a huge meal and someone's like, do you want to go out for pancakes? My answer is probably yes. Yes, I do. Yeah, they are kind of a pain to make. I picked this up. This is a silly thing I bought when I was in Norway. I just really... Oh, thank you for dropping that in the Discord, Malika, yeah. So, I just thought this was adorable. It's a Christmas sweater and a spatula all in one. They had it in 3 different colors, and I spent entirely too much time deciding which color I wanted. So yes, it's my new Christmas sweater spatula. I probably should have been using it for posterity, but anyway, there you go. That's the most ridiculous thing I bought when I was over there. Let's see. Ooh, that's getting nice and hot. How's my batter looking? I see a couple little bubbles, so that's good. It's another reason the first batch of pancakes often doesn't turn out good is because you put it on the griddle too soon. A lot of people say, you know, those first batch pancakes, you don't eat those. Give those to the dog. It's like, well, you wouldn't have to if you just let the batter rest a little bit. So, yes. But for those who missed the beginning, I will show again. So, I bought Jaffa Cakes. I've been eating them all week. And the thing I love about them is they're described on the back as the original blend of dark crackly chocolate, light sponge, and the smashing orangey bit. I love that it says the smashing orangey bit. The Brits can do marketing writing all day long. They are so great. I also love these little ginger cookies I got in the Netherlands, which are coated in, they're just tiny, tiny ginger cookies about the size of a dime, and they are coated in cocoa powder, and they are really, 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 really good. They have ones with different candy coatings as well. Also, I should really put these in the fridge because I can feel they are melting a bit in my warm apartment. I got a flake bar, which is nice crumbly milk chocolate. I got, this is a raspberry truffle bar. It's very, very good. And this is a quick lunch. A quick lunch. That's what it means, this quick lunch. And, oh, I guess did I put it? Oh, no. It fell behind here. Also, dark chocolate marzipan, which I will fight you for dark chocolate marzipan. I think it is the greatest combination of all sweets. The one that I get locally is the Marzipan Ritter Sports. Oh, I will eat those. I will eat them until I hate myself, basically. They are so, so good. That is my favorite candy, which is why I almost never buy it, because I will eat it too much. Alright, I think we're probably close enough we can throw some pancakes on. So let's move this to where you can see a little bit better. Now it's important to lubricate your griddle. So I'm going to put just a little pat of butter on there. You can use oil. I think butter tastes a bit better. And get it nicely coated all around. And now we're going to, the other thing is kind of underestimate how much batter you think you need per pancake, because when they all run together, they're a pain in the butt to flip. So, just gonna do that, make them, and they tend to spread a little bit on the pan that you've lubricated. Yes, there are many jokes we can make. There we go. Pancakes. I feel like I should get this a little closer. Let's see if I can do that without damaging my apartment. That might be a little bit better. Yes, as Saber says, use lube every time. Now, when do you turn your pancakes? This is also key. You want your pancakes to have a very specific look by the time that you turn them. So you want them to have little bubbles breaking on the surface, which you can already see a little bit on these, and you want it to be golden brown on the bottom. Kind of a nice uniform golden brown if you can swing it. I usually can't, but we try. I'm just gonna keep adjusting this because, yeah. But we want to give them, you know, it usually takes about 1.5 minutes on the first side and about 30 seconds on the other. So I'm starting to see little bubbles form around the edges. That's really good. I'm gonna wait, because you usually want to see a little bit of browning action on the edges before you even check them. So yeah, pancakes. I also like waffles. I just think they're far more effort, so therefore I do pancakes more. Pancakes are quicker. Pancakes do not require me to wait for a waffle iron. And you get a lot more pancakes for the time you spend on it. Waffles, a lot of times if they're a really good recipe, you have to whip up egg whites separately, and that ish takes time. Pancakes are a lot easier. So let's check these. Oh, those are looking actually quite nice, so, oh, sort of. They're a little pale. But they've got some nice colorization, some nice caramelization on the bottom. That's not bad. They might require just a little more time on this side. So I'll kind of show you. My super low-tech camera situation. The problem is I have a little bit of a delay because I'm watching Twitch because of the chat. There we go. That's how I should do it. Tilt it up just a little. So now I can see it's still not done on the lower half around the edges here. I do press them very lightly down too, because that you do get a lot of air in there, which is good to a point, but to the point where you're not getting cooked in the middle, it is not so great. These are puffing up really nicely, which pleases me. So yes, I want to hear chat's pancake discourse. What do you like on your pancakes? What do you like in your pancakes? What are the best pancakes in your humble opinions? Hit me up. Yes, these are looking kind of nice. I'm going to move them a little bit. Ideally, you only want to flip pancakes once. I am not perfect, so I often end up flipping them a couple times because I often flip them too soon. Or they just take longer to cook than I would like. Because my stove is really iffy. BT dubs. This stove is suboptimal, as we would say at work. Yeah, it's still a little bit raw in the middle. The other problem with this pan is it's not super even. It's warped a little bit, which makes it a little hard. Once took chocolate chip pancake batter in a muffin tin and they were cupcakes almost. Yeah, that's good stuff. Nothing wrong with that. Now, if you're really nervous if they are cooked in the middle, you can sort of poke the middle and see if there's any batter, and there's not. So these are actually done. So we are going to move those to the cooling rack. All right. A little more butter on the skillet. And a little more batter on the skillet. Little butter, little batter. I had like this fancy pancake batter dispenser, and it didn't really, like, it was supposed to make perfectly uniform pancakes. It didn't really work that well. Even when I tried more traditional pancake recipes that, like, the batter wasn't quite as thick, it just didn't do a very good job. Ooh, honey maple syrup. Yeah, no, I don't do the fake syrup either. The syrup I got out of the fridge, which I definitely put in a place that is around here somewhere. Did I put it back in the fridge? I put it back in the fridge. I took it out and I put it back. This is the syrup that I have. It's organic. It's lovely. It tastes excellent. So, hang on, I've got syrup on my fingers. When I was in the Netherlands and I tried poffertjes, which I was talking about before, which are tiny little, like, quarter-sized pancake, like literally a silver dollar pancake. It was about that big. When I tried those, there were 3 different sizes you could order, and all the sizes were written in Dutch, but the third option, the largest with 30 pieces, was called Groot, like Guardians of the Galaxy. So we had to order it just 'cause, and a group of us shared it. But I can't describe how good this is. These super hot, fresh, puffy pancakes, just with a slab of cold butter that's slowly melting down on them, powdered sugar. Oh, it's so good. So good. Yeah, I think we all used the fake pancake syrup when we were kids. Coffee beans. You put coffee beans on your pancakes? Really? That's a thing? Wow. Oh, leftover pancakes making PBJs? Yeah. Heck yeah. That sounds amazing. All right, let's see if these are ready to flip. Yes. Pretty much. I'm committing to the flip, even though they're just a little bit not perfect, but I love when they get kind of those nice little bubble marks there. I used to go to, you did it by accident, you put the coffee beans in, it's actually really good. Did that work out? with the coffee beans. So I used to go to pancake breakfasts at church as a kid. We would do that once a month. It was some absurdly small amount of money for like feeding your entire family breakfast. I want to say it cost my parents no more than $10 to feed a family of 5 pancakes. I could be misremembering, but it was a really, really low number. And you got a lot of pancakes for that money. And yeah, you got like the crappy table syrup and probably just margarine instead of butter, but you also got good sausage or bacon with it. It was quite nice. Oh, you could mix in chocolate covered espresso beans instead of chocolate chips if you didn't want to sleep for a week. Yes, that is an option. I have mixed in, like, you can also mix like granola into pancakes if you want something a little denser. Yeah, we had first Sunday of the month was always Donut Sundays when they would get donuts from the grocery store, and that shit was lit. I loved Donut Sunday because there was no sit down and eat expectation. You could just get a donut and leave. Whereas Pancake Sunday, you had to stay for a bit. But yeah, these are reminding me, like the nice golden tops of these are reminding me quite a bit of Church Sunday pancakes. Take them off for just a second so you can see that closer up. Isn't that beautiful? I'm very proud of these. They are turning out very good. See, oh, that's a nice even gold on the other side there. Just get a little bit of that light color. What I really want someday is to have a place with one of those extended ranges where it has the big griddle in the middle of all the 4 burners. Ugh, that shit would be amazing. And then you can lift it off and clean it, but you don't have like a whole stand for it. It's just the griddle itself. Do want... And here's the other trick with pancakes. It is very, very easy to freeze pancakes, but I recommend putting separators in between them all. I'll show you, or I'll tell you how I do that as soon as I get this next batch started. Just put there. More butter. All the butter. Okay. So, let me get these started here. Oh, the other thing is how you tell your griddle is just perfect for temperature for pancakes is you can flick a drop of water onto it, and if it sizzles and dances and doesn't immediately evaporate, that's perfect temperature for pancakes. It's about 300 degrees if you have an electric griddle, if memory serves. That's about what you want. Yeah, parchment paper, or what I actually do is I put them in a row on press and seal. I just put them like one after the other, and then I cover it in another layer of press and seal and press it all down. And then like I do them sort of in groups of 4 so that they go into a freezer bag, and then I throw them in the freezer. And then they come out, they separate perfectly. I thaw them in the microwave, I cook them in the microwave, and they are delicious. I start to panic when I have no pancakes in the freezer because they're my instant I have no time to cook dinner, and also my I really need comfort food dinner. So, yes. So that's what I do. My dad used to make pancakes. It was the only thing I remember him cooking other than steaks on the grill when I was a kid. But he would make pancakes where he'd do them in shapes for me. We were often the first ones in the family awake on a Saturday morning. The rest of my family liked to sleep in. I liked to sleep in when I got older, but when I was like 5, I'm like, it's 6 a.m., it's Saturday, it's time to have fun. And I'd run downstairs and I'd watch the Gummy Bears and like USA Cartoon Express, Jabberjaw, stuff like that, and my dad, and Captain Caveman, and my dad would make pancakes, and he'd make them shaped like little rabbits for me, and other things like that. I think he experimented with 2 shapes. He got good at like 2 shapes. It was like rabbits and, I don't know, hearts or something like that. My mom would also make specially shaped pancakes. She had these little like molds so that she could make heart-shaped pancakes and like 4-leaf clover shaped pancakes, and she would make them on holidays, which is kind of cool. So like hearts for Valentine's Day and shamrocks for St. Patrick's Day. We were big on holiday celebrations in my family. So yeah, pancake family for sure. We ate a lot more pancakes than waffles, I will say that much. Yep, I'm guessing at exactly the perfectly same wrong moment every time for these. Ah, well. I have no regrets. But yeah, gummy bears was so my jam. My dad would even watch the gummy bears with me, and he is not a fan of, shall we say, whimsy. And yet he would watch that show. He wouldn't watch any other cartoons with me, but he would watch Gummy Bears, and he still likes to sing the theme song. I cannot explain that. It is one of the stranger aspects of his character that I've never quite grokked. Let me just shift these around to make more room. Pancakes. I used to do waffle days at my tech startup I worked at for a while. I also did grilled cheese days and things where I'd bring appliances in. We didn't have a kitchen, but I would bring appliances in and cook for my coworkers because there were only like 7 of us. So I'd bring in like my crock pot and my panini grill, and I'd make tomato soup in the crock pot with just like canned stuff that I had, and I'd make grilled cheese sandwiches in the panini grill, which was awesome. And then I would bring in like my waffle iron, and I'd make waffle batter at home and just bring it in and make waffles in the middle of the day for my coworkers. We also had a nacho day where we all went to the grocery store earlier, where we worked really close to a grocery store. So we went to the grocery store and each picked up a different ingredient for nachos. Like one person got the chips, one person got the cheese, one person got black olives, one person got salsa, and so on. And we just brought it all back with like some paper bowls and sort of assembled them and microwaved them. So we did have a microwave and had nacho day at work. That was pretty cool. I liked nacho day. I kind of miss that job sometimes, but oftentimes my health insurance would just like go away with no warning because of money. That I do not miss. I extremely do not miss that. Tech startups are fun and sometimes very nerve-wracking. It wasn't one of those where I was working like 90-hour weeks, but it definitely had its moments of, oh no. Alright, we are closing in on the finish line on these pancakes. More butter. Health food. Has anyone been watching The Desert Bus? I sure have. The inimitable Andy stopped by today. That was really fun to watch. In between things that I was working on. Alright. Down again. I think this will be the last round. These are going to be a little bit small. So for those unfamiliar, Desert Bus is an annual fundraising event for Child's Play, which is a charity that helps kids in hospitals who are in like long-term care. It gets them video games and video game consoles and so much more. It's a really good charity, and every year Desert Bus for Hope, run by the awesome folks at Loading Ready Run, raises hundreds of thousands of dollars for this charity by being like a 24/7 telethon for a full week. But a cool telethon where they do random improv things and things like that. So I have been watching that a fair bit. It's a nice background thing because I can't obviously pay attention most of the day because I am working. This is going to be our last batch, which means I get to eat some. Sorry, that was loud. There we go. Done with the loud things. Sorry about that. Now, I like my pancakes with butter and syrup. That's what I do. Atticus says hey. Atticus has been a sweet little dear. Like, he does not do well when he's not around people, like, 24/7. He doesn't even like it that I won't let him in the bedroom while I sleep, and the reason I don't let him in the bedroom while I sleep is because he will walk laps around me all night and not let me sleep, because I'm a very light sleeper. So, or he'll jump up on things he's not supposed to jump up on. Yes, you do. He's looking at me like, what, me? But the last couple days he's been a complete cuddle bug and has just been like, hey, he will whine at me until I make my lap available for him to sit by either moving stuff off my lap or sitting down. And he will curl up and just purr and just sit there like for a while. And it's adorable and also not very conducive to doing things like going to bed on time. Slightly overdid these. But, yeah, unfortunately, I got to bed way late last night because he was so cute and so comfortable that I felt bad getting up. And then when I finally summoned the will, he did the cutest thing ever, and he did a little blep with his tongue. His tongue was sticking out just a little bit, and he was sleeping, and it was so cute. And I was powerless. And then he did like one of those cute little cat stretches while he was sleeping and changed position. It's like, oh, cat, you're killing me. You are killing me with cute. He is very adorable. So that was last night. Yeah, I had to learn to sleep through the meowings at the door. My trick for that is that I only feed him wet food in the evening. When I was feeding him in the morning, he would meow earlier and earlier and earlier to get me to feed him. Now he only bothers me in the evening, because he's used to having wet food in the evening only. So that helps. But it took a long time. Like, now he doesn't meow outside my door until about, sometimes 5 in the morning. Actually, he usually lets me sleep until he realizes I am not asleep anymore. And I don't know how he knows this. But, like, if I am awake for a bit and scrolling through my phone, suddenly he will start meowing. Then, like, after I've been awake, he'll be like, meow. It's not like my phone is making noise. I don't even have any, like, haptic feedback or anything on it. I keep everything silent, like a good millennial should, even though I'm not a millennial. Like, no system noises at all on the phone. But, yeah, he just knows that I'm awake. And it's like, you're awake, and you're not letting me in, and you're not playing with me. And that is wrong. Yeah. Cats just follow my wife around until it's time for bed. Yeah. I know someone whose cats, like, bully them into going to bed. Like, if they're not in bed on time, the cats get upset. So I'm gonna have a couple pancakes now. We are done. Remembering to turn off the stove. So, let's see. I can't quite see that. Let's put it here. There we go. So, a little bit of butter on there. Generous bit of syrup. And a fork. Sure, this is what our work has wrought. This is delicious pancakes. Now I'm gonna eat them and make you watch. Because that's how I roll. Come on. Oh yeah. That's good. One of the things I like to do too is get really, really dark baking chocolate chips. Like the 60% cacao. Or 70%. Those are real good too. Yep, this is just what my brain needed today. It was a bad brain day. Pancakes heal all woes. So, that's the stream. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you all have really good weeks. And I don't think I'm streaming again until, let's see. No, it'll be before Thanksgiving. So, I will not wish you happy Thanksgiving yet. You'll get that next time. I will be streaming on the 25th, which is also my birthday week. So, y'all can wish me happy birthday on that stream. Not yet, not yet. On that stream. No sooner. Anyway, I hope you have a really good rest of the night. Thank you for joining me for making pancakes. And I did drop the recipe into Twitter if you're looking for the recipe, and it's also in the Discord. Please do join the Discord. Let me see if I can make that magic happen. I love how it makes me agree to our chat rules every time. Yes, there's the Discord link. Join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. And, let's see. There we go. Here's all about the Misbehaving Maidens and where you can follow us. Please do follow us places. We are closing in on 3,000 followers on Facebook, and we'd be much obliged if you could give us some love there in particular. Anyway, have a great night. Thank you all, and I'll see you later. Bye.